person still going out for salads every day, rocking it.
Yeah, Vito is in the Sirius XM studios, the only one of us there. I am broadcasting live from Brooklyn. Ron is at his home in Manhattan, but Vito is still rocking it.
I could run over to Vito and be there before you went to break, and yet I don't. I see more. I see Vito more as Bruce Willis in 12 Monkeys.
Yes.
He's there, but, he's hearing voices. He doesn't know what year it is, and people are constantly scrubbing him.
Yeah, 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, that's Swerve in 12 Monkeys, right, Gail? Where we thought it was the one thing, but it wasn't. It was the other thing.
It was a different thing. I don't want to spoil it.
It was a different thing completely.
Yeah.
I yelled out in the theater, hey, remember theaters? And I yelled out in the theaters, wait, I thought it was the other guy. But it was this guy?
It's a different guy. And also...
Wasn't he the guy at the book signing?
I've been thinking so much of that airport scene at the end, too.
Well, I always do, because that was the airport I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
We used to just go to the airport back then. Hey, let's take a ride out to the airport. We'll watch planes come in.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Remember when all we had to worry about was terrorists? Good times. Imagine there's no heaven.
It's easy if you try.
I'm so glad that I turned down Gal Gadot. I go like this. I go, look, your head's in the right place, but everyone else is going to fuck with us for this.
Yeah. Today when Gal Gadot and the rest of the Hollywood folks put together the song, it was like one of those things where I'm like, this is very cheesy, but it's to be expected from this crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what the pretty people do. You know what I mean? It's like when the prom committee would at school act like they had a great idea for something. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
There's got to be a boat, but a boat made out of flowers. And everyone went, who gives a fuck? Seriously. I'm going to be so high that night I might not even come in the building.
So sign up if you want to help, okay?
Well, here's the thing. Who are the big stars in this? You had other people that did the Cape movies. You just had the regular funny people. The thing is, an agent put this together.
Right. They're like, everyone I have signed has to be part of this.
And make sure that you don't put on makeup.
Exactly.
Everybody's, look,
real.
No one looks good in the fucking video selfie, whatever that thing is. Everyone looks like shit all the time.
Yeah.
So we're going to look back at that and go, what were those people thinking that they allowed themselves to look so horrible? Not those people. They're in it. I mean, all human beings. And perhaps that was the start of this whole corona thing. But two things always happen. The pretty people do something like this, right? They're like, maybe, I saw that thing that organically took place in Italy. Let's us do it. You know what I mean? But, really pass it around good. And we'll all, put it on our socials and it'll go viral immediately. And then, the just like it's the lunchroom, there was always people talking about the people at the pretty table. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were like, look at those, they're such dicks, you just didn't go over and say it to their faces, but you mumbled it to each other. And then you got people going, why are you so mean to the pretty people? Why are you doing that? And this is how all social media plays out all the time.
Yes. I saw a lot of reactions. I read one reaction that it was like, I think in this time we need to stop our celebrity worship. And speaking of which, John Lennon was also an abuser. And you're like, well, now you've gone too far. You know what I mean?
Well, he would have been Me Too'd. He definitely would have been Me Too'd.
But I just mean, like, are we going to be, like, is that the level response we need to this? It's more just like, this is corny and silly, and of course they're going to do this stuff.
I will tell you that there's already a video out that beats the shit out of the Imagine video.
Oh, really? What's that?
Yeah, that's the Earl Douglas video. It's on our Instagram front page if you want to go check it out. And it's just the pictures that Earl has been taking around New York. And it's just so wild, the shots that he was able to get.
Yeah, they're all very, very, very eerie. Very strange to see New York this way. Yeah.
Haunting. But here's the weird thing about Earl. Why does he feel like he's safe from this disease?
Yeah, he really shouldn't feel that way. I mean, that's why I have two minds when I see these. I'm like, this is beautiful, but also I hope you're staying safe, keeping your elderly parents safe.
But can I just tell you something, Gail? It's like he's like a war correspondent. You know what I mean? Like somebody has to be there to document this. And in this case, oddly enough, and this is going to go out great in the movie, it's Earl.
Yeah.
I got the perfect person to play Earl in the movie, too.
Who's that?
Gal Gadot. You know, we changed it to a hot Israeli chick. You know what I mean?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Stunning, stunning pictures up, though. We're going to be talking to some of our comedian friends today. But also, Gail, you came up with a little phrase yesterday about the people that you're quarantined with. What do you call that again?
Your quarantine mate.
Quarantine mate. You got it. It's kind of like a little word play.
It's a little play on words.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little play. Now, you remember who we put up at the end of the show yesterday just to see how people would vote on this over on the Bennington Instagram. I think it already went down. Oh, no, it didn't. It's Dennis Falcone versus Jeffrey Gurian. And it literally is 80% of the people would rather be with Dennis, and only 20% of the people wanted to be with Jeffrey.
Now, I gave my pick for Jeffrey.
Yeah.
It was a very difficult choice. And upon seeing this, I just thought, people clearly don't know Dennis the way I do.
Yeah, that is true. That is definitely true. I like the people who wrote in and just said, look, I'd rather shoot myself in the head. Now, here's the one that's up today. Robert Kelly versus Rich Voss. Right away, more people are already saying Robert Kelly that they'd rather stay with. But I think it's much more of a struggle than you would believe, Gail.
Yeah, for me, choosing between those two, I have much more difficulty than I did between Dennis and Jeffrey. To me, this is a much more difficult question. And probably a main reason is I don't want either one of them to know my answer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, because that person will hate you forever.
Exactly.
Let's go over to let's just find out what Chris Stanley thinks. And Chris, I don't want you to think about this too deeply. I want this just to be a gut reaction. Who would you want your quarantine mate to be? You're stuck in the apartment or house, or quite frankly, if you even said the state of Delaware, it was just the two of you, it's still, you're going to feel the pressure of it. Robert Kelly or Rich Voss? Which is it, Chris?
Chris?
Oh, I guess he wandered away from that. I know he was going to, yeah.
He's on hold.
Yeah, I understand, but no. It's not a big deal. Vito, I'll let you do it. What do you got?
I'm going to go with Rich Voss.
Ooh, upset special.
Bobby Kelly constantly makes me feel ashamed that I've lost weight and that I look good. And I'm already freaking out that I'm going to gain weight, so I could not deal with that in quarantine, constantly being told that I'm getting fatter and him getting pure enjoyment out of it.
Now, do you also think that that's what's keeping you thin, his eagle eye?
I honestly wake up every day, and when I want to eat something shitty, I look at a picture of Bobby Kelly, and I think I won't let him get to me.
I know what he had for breakfast today. That's a pie with a cake and then a donut on top of it. And he says it's all gluten-free, but how could it be?
It can't be.
All right, here's the thing with these two. If you've got Rich Voss, you're going to be annoyed and angry with him.
Yes.
If it's you and Robert Kelly, right, you're going to have somebody annoyed and angry at you. Because it's helpful when you're with Robert Kelly to have Rich Voss there. Because if he's not being angry and annoyed with Rich Voss, he'll do it to just the next person.
Right, exactly. Oh, it's such a difficult decision.
It is. All right, here's a difficult decision. We got Pit Doc on the phone. He wants to talk to us about the coronavirus. But this guy has the worst bedside manner in the history of doctoring. I don't want him to freak us out and make us feel bad. The last time we talked to him, he was screaming, "We're all going to die." And I'm like, I don't know if I want that on the air. Yesterday, he tried to give us a call. We were all caught up in stuff. But let's go to him now. Pit Doc.
Hey, Ronnie. First question. You're in Manhattan right now, right?
Oh, boy. Here we go. Yes.
Have they blown the bridges and tunnels yet?
See, this is not... You're not doctoring right now, Pit Doc.
Well, I was just thinking, if you do some moving and shaking right now in 6 months, you could be the new Duke of New York.
Oh, boy.
That would be a nice position for you.
Didn't you take some kind of oath?
Yeah, do no harm. We don't have any up
Yes.
here yet, but it's up here. We just don't know it yet. That's all.
Yeah.
It's probably a 1% lethality thing. Of course, people who are older and who smoke might have a little bit more. I'm older and I have asthma, so I have a little bit more of a chance. But I actually want to get it, so that's fine.
Why do you want to get it?
Because I'm the one that makes the schedule for the staffing our emergency room. If two people go out, we only have 4 people. If 2 people go out at the same time, then we got no emergency room in our hospital. So big trick is to get it early, get antibodies in 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then get back to work.
And that's what we need to do. We need to get a small case of this.
Well, the longer it goes, the more weaker it'll get. Problem is, you're going to get a bigger influx when all those idiots from Florida spring break fly back up in the next week or two.
I don't know. I thought those kids were so cool. You know what I mean? I really liked them. They were
cute.
no more. Yeah. All they were doing was acting like everybody on the Jersey Shore, which everybody seemed to have liked before, and now that's turned the other way. Mm-hmm. So, Pit Doc, what you're saying is we're just going to be okay. It's all going to work
it's
out.
a pretty good chance. You are, when it all boils down, we'll probably have a 1% mortality rate, and that'll be old people who aren't hydrated enough. The big thing to do in the next month is hydrate the ass out of yourself, because if old people are always notoriously dehydrated when they get behind the curve, and then if they get the disease, that's when those are the people that die. So hydrate yourself, lots of calories. Vito should probably put a few more pounds on just in case, and everything like that. Okay.
Yeah, get fat. Let's fatten up Vito.
No.
I like that.
All right, Pit Doc, we have your number, right? We're going to check in with you from time to time, but I don't want to take away from what you're doing.
Everything will be okay. Just a little bit social distancing is fine. Okay?
All right.
And I choose Bob Kelly over Rich Voss because Rich Voss 2 years in a row at the Thanksgiving show called me that Jim Gaffigan-looking motherfucker. So, Bob Kelly it is.
That's the thing about him. He doesn't change his fucking lines. And every time a new person walked backstage, Voss would call Kelly dumb DeLuise, and then he would immediately turn and look at the new person to wait for the laugh to come in.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
When I was standing in line back when you guys did the show on Staten Island. So I was standing in line as you guys were signing. And I think every single person, there was like a celebrity that person looked like, but ugly, but fat, but whatever, but old.
I think the time that he said nice shirt fatso is like, you're not even trying anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you're not even looking for something.
That's just mean-spirited.
And by the way, every celebrity that somebody supposedly looks like is from the 60s or the 70s.
Right.
You know what I mean? He'll just be like, okay, fine, Uncle Fester. And you're just like, well, the person looks nothing like Uncle Fester. And yet they go walking away sad, like, I look just like Uncle Fester. I noticed Bonnie has been putting together a puzzle, and I find it oddly fascinating.
Yeah. She's been working on a massive puzzle, and then I saw that they had been doing some yard work together, and they were digging up part of their garden. And then she just tweeted, "Wife is forced to dig her own grave."
All I thought of, there she is back to her Canadian fucking farmer ways that she grew up with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's no way I'd be out worrying about a garden right now. I saw that some people are planting gardens, like they're somehow helping, and then people, or just like spring plants, and then other people are writing, Monsanto is the one who started this. You're just fucking helping to spread the disease.
Oh, God.
I literally know nothing about Monsanto except for every kind of hippie person hates them.
Well, I think what I know about them was probably mostly from remember King Corn? I feel like that was when I first became aware of them. Either that or like the Food Inc. There was like this two really super depressing food documentaries that came back to back, and I feel like Monsanto came up in both of them.
Well, you're saying depressing documentaries. That's fucking redundant. All these documentaries just make you feel bad about yourself.
You know, I was thinking about that too because, last night I was like, oh, maybe like a nice documentary. And I was just going through them, and all of them are either really depressing, really eerie, really creepy, about a murder, about a horror across, in another country. It's like, they're all dark.
I could make a documentary called Don't You Feel Sorry for the Dolphins and Monkeys and probably end up making $10 million off of it. Just have a bunch of monkeys crying.
Is there such a thing as a feel-good documentary? Can you even think of one?
Not one. Zero. Matter of fact, the people at Netflix are going like this. What is this? This is too happy. Get rid of it. Kill the kid and then bring me back the documentary.
The only one I can kind of think of is, remember American Movie? I would say that's kind of like almost like a black comedy of documentaries where it's like a Christopher Guest movie or something come to life.
Yeah. The thing is like, it's also could just be called teasing the special needs. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to laugh at these people for having dreams.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, their dreams are no different than anybody else who wants to make a movie. Are you telling me that when Marty Scorsese didn't start to make his first movies, people are going, you believe that fucking kid? That stupid kid thinks he can make a movie?
At least I feel like once a month that movie will pop in my head because I'll think about the uncle who kept having to do the scene over and over, and he did like 1,000 takes, and he just kept on being like, that's all right, it's okay, you got something to live for, Jesus told me so. It's like the most ridiculous scene.
But there was a thing like Dennis Hopper, when he was young, some fucking director was mad at him and put him through the same thing like for 20 hours until Dennis Hopper finally had a breakdown and like literally stopped making movies for 7 years or something. The whole idea of movies is just crazy.
I know.
Imagine there's no heaven. I send that around to people, the Imagine video, under the headline of which one of these would you want to fuck?
Just marry, fuck, kill the whole group.
Yeah, marry, fuck, kill everybody in that thing. That Gil Godot is some looker though, huh? Just a big, tall Israeli. Yeah,
she's a lovely looking lady. But I will say this, I think while I understand why they chose Imagine, it's not the easiest song for a sing-along, so I feel like nobody came off looking that great because it's a difficult song to pull off.
Well, the thing is, I think it's a much simpler song than people sing it. You know what I mean? Like, if you go back and listen to John Lennon, he's just singing. He's like, well, this lyric is so heavy. You know what I mean? I'm just going to just stay in the same tone and sing it out to people. But there's no reason to go on runs during that song. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know whether it got John Legend up over the years, but if you go back, Vito, do you have this stuff, this Imagine song? And this is without the 10-minute fucking Gal Gadot trying to set it up as if it's difficult for the rest of us to pick up why she's doing this?
Yeah, I have the celebrities singing it.
All right. And who are the celebrities? Because I don't even know all of them.
So,
a lot of them are younger.
There's like Gal Gadot, Jamie Dornan, Natalie Portman, Zoe Kravitz, Sia, Linda Carter, Amy Adams, Mark Ruffalo, Ashley Benson, and then some more.
Yeah, I think I got confused with Ashley Benson. All right, let's play it and see how much we can handle.
There's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
No hell below us.
Above us only sky.
Imagine all.
No, I was talking to them, not you.
Living for today. Yeah.
Imagine there is no countries, yeah.
It isn't hard to do.
Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living for today.
All right, let's stop it for a second. Do you see what I'm saying, Gail? Like, they literally are not paying attention to the lyric at all.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not that kind of a song. Then you have the people who are not great singers, and it's a hard tune to carry. Then you have people who are showboating. It's not a good edit. It's not a good mix. I don't think it was a good idea.
It's a throwaway. It's not like they released a single. You know what I mean? But everybody now just wants to bash. Like, I don't know whether you saw that clip going around. I guess Jimmy Fallon did a home show, right? And his kids were climbing all over him as he's trying to do his act, right? The kids are yelling at the camera and not paying attention to their dad. And everyone's like, these kids are fucking brats. Jimmy Fallon doesn't even know how to parent. And I'm like, have you ever watched Instagram before? You know what I mean? That's the way everybody's kids act on Instagram.
Right, exactly.
It's not a real show. They're not trained actors.
Right. And this is also what everyone is going through right now. Literally, Juju just pushed in the room as I said this.
Oh, boy.
Hi, Juju. What you doing in there? Hey. I'm guessing Daddy's on a work call. Hi. You want to hear? Who's this?
No.
What's that?
Hi, Juju.
Here.
Hi.
You can listen right
Hi,
like
Pop Pop.
this. Who is that? Papa. Yeah, that is Papa.
Yeah, it's Pop Pop.
Yeah, that is Papa.
It's Pop Pop. See, where's Juju?
She's trying to sing Imagine.
Imagine there's just Juju and her stuffed animals. She's just been playing with her stuffed animals lately, huh?
Yeah, it's been actually really sweet, but also kind of sad because she's setting them up like circle time, which they do in their daycare. I think she really misses her buddies.
But you have to remember that she's what, a little over 1.5?
Yeah.
1 3/4
She's going to be 20 months in a couple of days.
Elmo. She wants Elmo.
Yeah, Elmo.
Elmo. She has Elmo and I have Vito. Hey, I hope Chris Stanley's okay.
Me too.
But, yeah. I've never known him to walk away from his post. He should make a documentary.
Yeah.
You know? Make a documentary about himself.
About his new quarantine life.
When did she come in for a little snack, Gail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
When's
She's
that
waving
stop?
to the mic. She doesn't understand
Hi.
how that works.
Hi, Mike.
Hold on. She's just pulled my headphones out. Sorry.
That's okay. Coming up in, well, a matter of minutes, we're going to talk to a buddy of ours who's, I just got a text from Chris that said, I love you.
What? Is he okay?
Okay. He wrote, no, that's just, then he goes, I love you. I just stupidly had my phone mic muted.
Wait, but why did he say I love you?
You know how we all feel right now. We're all on edge. You know what I mean? Like, you literally go, I wish I was with the people that I worked with, that I always say that I hated. All right, let's check him, Vito, because now he feels weird until we hear his voice again.
Hey guys, do you hear me now? Is everything okay?
Yes. No,
Yes.
First of all, don't act like something was wrong with your phone that we couldn't pick up on it. Your phone is fine. You hit the mute button. So when we were talking to you, you were yelling?
Yeah, I was yelling
like
about
I'm here.
response. But I'm here. I'm okay.
Yeah. I just got a nice thing from Pit Doc. All right, he's saying to tell my mom to nail her front door shut, so she doesn't have to have deliveries. But the last thing you have to do is worry about that woman letting someone in. I've sent her packages that have just sat outside for like days, and then I'll call her and go like this: Mom, would you just go out on the porch and take a look? It's the Amazon said they were there, and this was before any of this shit happened. You know what I mean? This was just like on a Tuesday. I'm sorry, Chris. Are you muted? Are you muted?
No, I'm here. I'm right here, Ron. Not muted.
Good.
I love you.
I love you.
Here's.
Gail, I love you too.
Hey, let's point this out. Like, we hadn't really thought about this, but Chris was not in a relationship for so long, and now at least he has that person to be with. You know what I mean? It's nice during this awful time.
I would have been so worried otherwise. If he was just alone in Astoria, Queens right now.
Yeah.
Story apartment by myself. I'd be fucking on edge.
All right, Deborah just texted me that her air fryer arrived. Do you have one, Gail?
I don't have an air fryer. Here's almost like the natural order of things I've noticed. People get an Instant Pot, and then they're like, this is the best thing ever. Now I'm going to move on to air fryer. So I got an Instant Pot, and I feel like I'm right there. I'm ready for this air fryer. I hear nothing but good things.
I did not want an air fryer. Bobby Kelly on the Creeps tour. The air fryer saved my life. The air fryer. Ron, you got an air fryer? Rich, you got an air fryer? Fries everything. You could fry a pork chop in there. You could fry chicken in there. I started hating air fryers. Finally, I just go, I'm getting an air fryer. This is why when people say advertising doesn't work, it does. If you hear something enough, you just get it. Guess what? Fucking love my air fryer. Love it.
No, how is it that the air fries it? I just don't understand. Superheat?
Oh, I don't know how any science works. None. I have no idea how science works. You could, I mean, there's. I still don't even get pollination after all this time. All right, Vito.
Yeah.
Do we got Ian?
Not yet. I will text you guys when he's on the line.
Wow. I mean, what is he doing that he couldn't be here in time? You know what I'm saying? What
I
the
know,
hell is going on?
We all
Ska
have nothing but
records?
time.
What is he? Fucking 2 hours deep into the pie tasters? Chris, where were you on the Gal Gadot thing?
You know, I didn't have such a strong reaction as everyone else. The internet seems to be so fucking pissed at her. I think it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I thought Natalie Portman and Zoe Kravitz, though, were a little, really didn't seem to want to be there. They seemed really like lackluster.
First of all, because they were acting like humans. They were not acting like they were the best singers in the world. You know what I mean? They were just singing along with something.
Zoe Kravitz did kind of seem like she had a gun to her head, though, as she did it. She's like...
Zoe Kravitz should have just said, I don't understand why more people aren't watching my show.
Do you know, I was thinking about that. I'm so mad that I already binged that. I would be enjoying it right now for the first time.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. I'm going as deep as I possibly... I went and rented a movie last night because, you know, like your husband, I like the neo-noir. What's she doing?
She's just pulling my headphones out so I can't hear you guys. I'm yanking the mic cord. This is actually impossible.
You know what? She wants a mom. Is that so hard, Gail, to understand? She wants her mom's attention. If my mom was here, I'd be climbing all over her trying to get her to look at me. Look what I'm doing. Look at me. Oh, we do have our man in finance. Now, here's what this is like, really, in terms of everything, you know, this is a worldwide problem, right, Gail? But it's also a personal problem. And let me just tell this story. I have watched Ian blossom in the last couple of years. He went from one of those people who are like, oh, he's a really funny guy, he just has to find his own voice, to a guy who's out on the road and on stage with Dave Attell. You know what I mean? Like, Dave Attell fucking brings Ian on stage and they riff, right? He went on the road playing big theaters with Nikki Glazer. Everyone who's funny loves Ian. And suddenly now, you know, for the first time in his comedy career, he has money, he has people following him, he has success. I mean, he's making it in New York City. And then shit like this happens.
I know.
And, you know, who knows if there's even going to be comedy after this whole thing is over. Ian Finance is here with us today. Ian.
Hey.
Ian.
Hey. Hi, guys. Thanks so much, Ron. It was so nice. I really needed a good soundtrack to load this gun.
But it's true, right? And I'm hearing that from everyone.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary. And then, you know, I've spent, you know, my entire time being so open and honest about everything that I've totally ensured I will never get a regular job again. So if comedy doesn't come back, I mean, maybe I can be a bicycle courier somewhere in the city, but other than that, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
By the way, write that screenplay up because I think it's fucking great. You're just a funny bicycle courier.
Yeah, a funny bicycle courier in the city, and people still try to only pay me in laughs.
Yeah, but you're always like this. You're like, letter for Mr. Goldstein. You know, you're still carrying the front wheel of your bike, you know, and like the thing is, you know, everybody in town. The coffee guy, you and him have like a little joke thing. The old lady who sells flowers, and, you know, you're just driving as fast as you can, and people are like, "Go for it, Ian." And then what happens?
Well, that's how I feel in my neighborhood. I you know, and like you said, I've really worked hard at building up a life for myself. I'm finally, you know, really making a living doing comedy and finding my voice and really getting to the point that I've been working towards. And then, you know, this happens, which is why I'm trying to stay optimistic and positive that, you know, it not that it's going to blow over, but that it will come back. It's just going to have to take a little bit of time. And keeping things in perspective, I'm not the only one. You know, like you said, the world has come to a screeching halt. and it's truly the Wild West of this. No one knows what's going to happen. I just got to find my way to strike liquid gold.
Now, do you at all feel like, oh man, comedy's stupid? You know what I mean? Like, now that I've had a chance to take a step away from it, what was I doing? Trying to make strangers laugh?
I mean, I went to a wedding a couple weeks ago with like all my childhood best friends down in North Carolina, and they are who I want to be with during this, because they all know how to do things. They all know how to like fix, a car battery with a towel. Like they know how to like do all. They have guns. They know how to do everything. And I'm up here. I'm like, if shit really shuts down, everything I've worked for has just been for nothing. It's stupid. I mean, comedy is great. We're going to need people to laugh. People are going to want to laugh. Even like towards the end of it, I found crowds are better than ever because everyone was scared and they needed to get away and laugh. But now who's going to want to be in crowds, aside from 21-year-olds in Florida?
Well, Gail, if you remember this from the Carl Reiner thing that I did, right? That he was in World War II. He was a guy who was like knowing how he was a code breaker and knowing how to set up all this stuff. And then they found out that he was an actor who had done, off Broadway and stuff. So they immediately said, you're in these shows and we're going to go out and, kind of USO shows, right? He told me those guys in the Philippines during the war, the day before their friends are getting killed or whatever, he said they're the best audiences he ever played to in his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
People really do want to laugh. He said he never had a show that went bad. Every show was fucking great.
Yeah.
So,
I'm feeling it right now. Even the little bit, talking with you, but also just even like having people on Twitter making jokes. Like I don't think I've needed it more.
Yeah. Anything slightly funny, but let's now that we have a pause. The last couple of years for you, crushed.
Yeah.
You must have felt like you were dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that wit.
What can you? That's it. I mean, what can you do? We're all in the same boat, though. A lot of people have really worked hard, and it's a total mind fuck, Ron. I don't know what to tell you other than to figure it out, and it's going to come back. And
Ian,
it is funny. It is funny though. What?
The boat that we're in is the Titanic. Just so you know that we're all in the same boat, but we've hit an iceberg.
Yeah. Well, what do? Do you get off the ship? Do you be the band and keep playing, or do you be Leonardo and try to get a nut off before it all goes down? I don't know.
What about all of the above? All of the above.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel?
I've never seen anything like this before in my life. So, I just feel like you just keep playing the cards. You know what I mean? You just keep playing the cards. And you got to have gratitude. I don't have to tell you that, Ian. You got to have gratitude, Totally. At the very least, you go, hey, I've had a pretty good life. I bitched a lot, but I probably shouldn't have,
Yeah, totally. Without a doubt. And I mean, again, like playing that thing of like, it could be incredibly, incredibly worse. I'm really fortunate. I don't, have a family that I have to support. I have my cat, and it is a thing of gratitude. And I'm fortunate that I've been able to stay grateful with so many things, especially where I came from and where I'm at. And I mean, it is crazy, but I think it's important for all of us to kind of realize that it is going to turn around. It's just a pause. Things are going to be real shitty for a while, but we can make it back. And I really think and believe that that's going to happen. And maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, but I got to stay. optimistic, or else I'm going to fucking put a bullet in my head. What do you want?
First of all, no one's forcing you to solve this. Relax. No one is forcing you to solve this.
We need you,
I know.
Ian.
Why am I getting so presidential?
I like the idea
Ian,
of being presidential is just like, I'll put a bullet in my head.
Yes. First of all, wouldn't that be amazing? I have seen, I've seen the research, and I'm not staying for it. Boom.
Yeah, if Trump pulled a Bud Dwyer.
Oh, God. And now the amount of people who think they saw Bud Dwyer live. I go, you did not. You saw it on Faces of Death. He was in Harrisburg. Now, Ian, I saw some of the last videos that you've put up. Crushing it. At the fucking Comedy Cellar. That's the place that everybody on the East Coast wants to be, and he's killing it, and he's working shows every night. But my little beef here is that you're taking credit for being a B in the whole gay flag thing. I've never seen you with another. I never saw you with another B. You know what I mean? I think you got to flaunt it a little bit.
That's because I like to do some things in private, in my bedroom with some of the fellas, or on the street if it gets kind of wild. But you've never been with me at Penn Station at 2:00 in the morning, Ron. So
that's the video I want you to put out, dude. That I think would be amazing. Now, Gail, let's rank. Give me, first of all, what are all the initials, Gail, that they have? Because there's a ton now.
There's LBGTQ, I think. Am I missing it?
Yeah.
No.
Isn't there
like LGBTQIA, I don't know. Everybody wants to be a part of it now,
I know. But I think the person who has it easiest in all that alphabet is the B.
You like to stir the pot, Ron.
No, I'm just telling the truth. No one ever says, hey, let's go beat up the buys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, bees do. I think they have it easy, but then also very little respect. But they definitely don't have it rough.
Well, I think the bees get overlooked completely and not taken seriously. And of all, it's being gay is not a choice. Being lesbian is not a choice. Being trans is not a choice. You're brave, you're smart, you're valid. And then with being a B, everyone's like, nah, it's a choice and you're selfish. You get to choose, and you're selfish, and, you got it easy. And as someone that lived my life as an S, it was, externally it was easily, but internally it was a fucking nightmare. And I'm not trying to play the victim or anything. I'm just trying to say it is kind of a weird thing. But maybe I should lean into the fact that, it's a choice. How lucky am I? It's a buffet, and I it's all you can eat.
But we're saying you're being a little piggish with it. That's what we're saying too.
Yep.
No one ever wants to see the fat lady at a buffet just thinking, I'm not going to take this plate back because why don't I just stay? I'm just going to be back here in 2 minutes.
Well, here's the big stereotype. It's always like men. If they say they're bisexual, they're like, you're gay. And if women say they're bisexual, it's like, well, you're a slut. Those are like
you're
the
hot.
two options. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fun. You went to liberal arts college.
Actually, you look at women that won't do that, kind of like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, like why are you so rigid?
I mean, here's the thing. If all that is a buffet and I'm being greedy, all you need to know about buffets is one time I had 2 free tickets to a buffet, and I tried to share plates so that we could use the ticket the next day. So, yeah, I am guilty of being greedy.
Being caught sharing plates is like one of the most horrendous things that can happen to you. And the thing of embarrassment, like if I was working at a buffet and I saw someone doing it, I'm like, I'm not even going to say anything to them. They must be so fucking broke,
Oh yeah. Well, I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she was like mortified and made me like go up and use the other ticket and everything. Cause I was like, no, look. Cause I thought I was smooth. I was like, we only need a one plate. And then we sat down and I was like, here's the rub. We're going to share plates. And she was like, you were so fucking embarrassing. I was like, come on, it's fun. You know?
Now, Ian, have you ever been in a relationship with a guy, or is that just sex?
No, I think it's just sex. And the more introspection I do and kind of thinking about it, I think, you know, I am bipolar, and a big side effect of being bipolar is, you know, acting out sexually. And I found that I gravitate towards men when I'm feeling like incredibly manic or like in a massive depressive state, because it's a drug. It's a quick thing I can do to make myself feel better quickly, and then I feel intense amounts of shame, so I got to do it again so I feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So
first of all, I find the interesting thing of this from a comedic point of view is that no one has taken your view before on stage, and that you do it. And I was watching you murder with it. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Anytime that you can find that lane in fucking comedy, take it. Fucking, you know, how often do you go to a field that hasn't been plowed already, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what I try to do when I'm with the fellas, just plow that field. And I don't know, it's weird to go into flyover states and talk about that and make it work, and have so many people, you know, come up or message me after shows and be like, dude, I haven't told anyone. It's the same thing for me. I felt so much shame, whatever. And, you know, that feels good. And then, you know, it's a weird thing to make it work in Brooklyn rooms, at the Cellar, and then, you know, these flyover states and everything. So I've really worked to try to make it this like really niche, weird thing into a universal thing that other people can not get disgusted by, or, you know, and can laugh at. And then now it's all gone.
It's gone for now, but this gives you a chance, Ian, to sit around, ponder those thoughts, go a little deeper with them, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure, do you even have one story, and you don't have to name names, but about another comic?
No.
So this is
I've
always
never,
strangers.
Always strangers, either anonymous or just off Grindr or Tinder. And it's weird. Like, guys know what it is. Like, I've showed up at guys' apartments and they answer the door completely naked, and you're like, okay, this is just a sexual act. And if a guy did that and a girl showed up, it'd be, you know, he'd be fucking Harvey Weinstein Jr.
Oh man, did you see where Harvey, the prison, they finally put him, Gail?
Yeah. I mean, is he back at Rikers now?
No, he's way upstate near Buffalo. He's at the coldest fucking prison in the lower,
oh my God.
lower 48. Yeah. Now, here's the weird thing. I know this because I knew a guy who worked for him when he was in the rock place, right? When he was in the rock business. Harvey grew up in Buffalo. Like, the whole fucking point of his entire life was, I was a nobody in Buffalo, and now I got houses in New York and LA and Cannes and London, and I go to these places, and I'm a mover and a shaker. And now he's in this cold, ugly prison, and he can look out the fucking window and see his old fucking elementary school. Talk about a cinematic scene, right? A cinematic scene. Just the fucking old, shitty, fucking burnout guy looking through bars, seeing a building, right? And then we just go back in time and watch a little fat Jewish kid playing in the playground of that thing as we start our movie.
I mean,
perfect.
Call Miramax. Let's make it happen.
That's the thing. They would have made the movie, and they would have killed with it.
I know.
If I was his defense lawyer, I would have definitely shown the jury Pulp Fiction.
That's a good point. Yeah. It's like, ladies and gentlemen,
do you understand
please.
how many minds have pondered what was in that gold suitcase?
I know. I think it was his soul.
Yeah.
It's so funny how many people try to come up with the fact that he had the Band-Aid on the
back of his head.
Yeah, that meant that's where his soul left from.
Oh my God. I mean, I think at a certain point people do lose their souls. I think that's very true.
Yeah, but I don't think they get too far away. You know what I mean? I think they're always there if you know how to turn around and find it again. But that's the Catholic thing. You know, we believe in like deathbed redemption, which I remember the first time I heard that, you know, that as long as you get your last rites and you're a believer, and I'm like, ooh, keep that in my pocket. You know what I mean? That's a good idea. You know, live a crazy life, and then at the last second, okay, I get it now.
I know. Well, now there's nobody signing up for the priesthood, so who else is going to give us our last rites?
That's true. Well, you know, I don't know whether you've been in a church lately, but you turn around and like the church secretary is handing out communions, and you're like, what?
I know.
What?
I am an ordained minister with the like American ministry service. I presided over their ceremony, and my childhood best friend with his wife. Like, if I can marry you, then the sanctity of marriage means nothing.
I know. When I heard that Tom Papa married Colin Quinn and his wife, I'm like, do you guys not take this seriously at all? And I go,
yeah.
And then I hear the ceremony was fucking hilarious. I'm going, of course it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It'd be very funny if you don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, I think it's better because the whole, you know, everything has to be solemn and serious with the priest, and they're the one with all the power. Taking that away, and you have a friend or someone who's important to your life do it, makes it so much more enjoyable for everyone else.
Oh, have you ever been to a funeral where it's obvious that the priest or the minister has no idea who they're talking about, you know, and they're just like,
oh God.
Bill was a joyous man. And I'm like, was he?
I was at a funeral of my husband's friend. So it was like a young guy. So of course, like there's so many people there. The guy doesn't know him. You know, he wasn't a religious person. This is just where it's happening. And I'm not even kidding. He starts to do crowd work. Like he starts to just be like, oh, you look like somebody who knew him. Well, like, did he like to cook? What was his favorite sport? It was so weird. And we're like, this is so cringy and horrible and so wrong.
Oh my God.
And that's the norm. You know what I mean? That happens all the time now.
Yeah.
There was a case, a guy who had done my show a couple of times, right? And me and him got very, very close right away because he had this disease that was basically killing him, right? Mm-hmm. And he was totally on a respirator, and he was paralyzed, and he came in to do interviews, right? And his wife was standing next to him, and he'd be on this, you know, getting oxygen, and then I would ask him a question, and then she would pull the respirator out. He would answer the question, and then start to run out of air. And then I would have to pick up and start doing the next question. Why? He got some more. His name was Philip Carlo, and he wrote the scariest fucking true crime books that you've ever seen in your life. He was an amazing man. He was literally a guy writing books about murder while he feels like he's being murdered from this disease that he had. I can't remember which one it was, right? So, and I mean, this was a guy who was like a guy about town, one of those guys that would be in bars talking, knew everybody in the business. His books would be made into movies. The Iceman was one of the books. So at his funeral, the fucking priest is talking and obviously doesn't know who the fuck Philip Carlo is, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly, a guy goes like this. A guy goes like this. Hey, can we stop this, please? Look, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to talk about him. He walks up on the altar, starts to tell great fucking stories about him. Tony Danza. Tony Danza stops the fucking funeral because he thinks this guy's shitting all over, goes up and does the eulogy instead of the priest. And I go, for the rest of my life, I'm going to love Tony Danza for that fucking moment.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so good.
That's wild.
Dude, I got to send you I got to send you copies of these interviews because you're going to go, this fucking guy is unbelievable. He's basically choking to death and answering these deep fucking questions about mafia murderers. He was phenomenal. I loved him. Loved Philip Carlo.
That's awesome. How do I get a hold of those?
I'll have him send it to you. I'll have Vito send them to you.
I appreciate it.
You're going to get a big kick out of it. All right. Do you got anything you want to plug at all? You got any gigs coming up?
Yeah. I'm going to be all around the city tonight. Actually, I'm going to film a special in my living room to no one, and I'm doing it next week. I'm going to put it out. I'm getting a film crew, and it's going to be me performing in my living room to my cat. And it's going to be shot really well, and I'm going to put that out. So look out for that.
Oh, man. Gail, modern day Philip Carlo we're talking to.
I know. I'm very excited.
Modern day Philip Carlo.
I think Samson will be a great audience. So,
Ian Finance, everything's going to be all right, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay, buddy?
Yeah, you guys are doing the Lord's work, man. And everything you said, Ron, about me killing and growing and getting better, you're at the heart of it, man. I can't be grateful enough to you for everything you guys have done to me. So thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. And you guys are just the best, and I have so much gratitude for everything you've done.
Well, when I say you were killing, I mean, that's just, that's fact. That's not me giving a critique or whatever. That's just what I saw happening with the audiences. And the fact that you take the funniest fucking stand-up living, and him saying, I not only want you to come on the road with me, but come up on stage with me. It's unfucking believable, Ian. I'm very, very proud of you. All right, Ian Finance, everybody. He's got a special coming out, and we'll be promoting it the second it happens. Talk to you soon, Ian.
Love
Hey,
you,
I love you guys.
Ian.
Thanks. Bye.
I love you. What a good kid, huh?
I love him so much. And he's such a sweetheart. He and I always stay in touch, and, he checked up on me and was asking about the baby. And it's really sweet that we know so many really funny, talented people that we get to be close with.
Yeah, I got to do that more. I got to check up on people. Like, how are you doing? You got enough milk? You can freeze milk. You want a break here, Gail?
Yeah, let's take a break. Bennington will be right back.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show! Bennington is back, and this is Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
Get it down. Bennington Show's back. The Bennington Show is back. I believe Gail is putting the baby down for a nap right now. But it was really, really great to hear Ian Finance on the show. Just hearing his voice again, busting balls a little bit, bringing some normalcy into our life. If you want to see something that is not normal, go over to our Instagram page, and there's like a little slideshow of New York City that's done by our own Earl Douglas. Gail, are you back yet?
I am back. She is down. She's asleep. She did fall asleep in my arms while Ian was on with us. So I had to go put her in her crib during the break.
So many people wrote to me, "Hi, Pop Up. Hi, Pop Up." How cute is that? Earl, have you seen Earl's pictures, Gail?
Yes, I have seen Earl's pictures. They're incredibly haunting. The one particularly that got me was the Grand Central Station one.
Yeah, Grand Central Station was unbelievable because this is like the busiest station in the country. You go there sometimes, and if you just stand in the middle of Grand Central Station, it's overwhelming. It's like being in the ocean, the amount of people who are going. And if you don't know 100% of the setup, you're like, how do all these people know where they're rushing off to? No one strolls through Grand Central Station. They got to get to Connecticut. They got to get to Westchester. They're just moving as fast as they can. And if you stand near that clock, you could just be like, oh my God, I've never seen this many people at one time. It's like if a whole football stadium was just moving like ants. That's what it's like to be in Grand Central Station. And here it is. Grand Central Station is open for business, and it's dead.
Yeah, it's such an eerie thing. And I was thinking like, though, another thing is at Grand Central, and you also get this even at Penn Station, is like the little school of fish gather by the board, then the numbers change and you watch them scatter. It's just like such a weird thing if you step back and watch it, the way everybody moves. So it's so weird to see that photograph where, you can only just see, it looks completely desolate. One guy standing in the middle, which is just so strange looking. It's a really cool picture.
And he's looking to bum change. I just really got a feel for the panhandlers right now. Their whole business. Oh, yeah. And I don't even know if it's going to come back.
No.
I don't know if panhandling will come back. It's sad. Yeah. All right, it is the Bennington show. We were just talking with Ian Finance. I'm going to try to get a hold of Earl, but he's living like this alternative lifestyle now where he's up all night and sleeping all day, I believe. You know what I mean? Because he covers the waterfront.
Yeah, he obviously has embraced a weird schedule. But yeah, I hope that he's being cautious, particularly in spaces like the subway and stuff.
Yeah, I can't imagine that he takes care of anything properly. That's just Earl.
Yeah.
All right, the latest quarantine mate. Robert Kelly versus Rich Voss, which we have as Richard Voss. I've never heard him be called that before. I guess his, the nuns did when he was in second grade. 84% to 16%. Voss may have to decide what he's going to do with his campaign after this one. He's in that Yang period. But I will say this. Maybe the fact that we have a picture of him wearing the gas mask, that could cost him some votes, Bobby's sitting there, he's smiling, he's got his cool, looks like Broadway producer, glasses on. He looks like the friendliest guy in the world. And Voss looks like a guy running a meth lab outside of Phoenix somewhere.
I mean, it does look like a nice cover for the Daily News, I know that.
It's so bad that the Daily News didn't pick that up.
I don't know
Front
why.
page of the Daily News. Comedy is no laughing matter will be the headline. What? I wonder how much we're going to regret doing that last show that we did of people just coming out and breathing on each other. It makes me nervous just to think about it. At the time, I'm like, of course we're going to do the show. We're booked.
Yeah.
The show must go on. The people of Verona need a big show.
Now people are like, how dare you, sir?
Yeah, I know.
There's a couple people. Well, that's another thing about also social media is the people who tweeted things kind of early on, or maybe they put it on their Instagram or Facebook where they're like, this doesn't seem like a big deal. Everybody chill out. And as we see, things rapidly don't age very well.
No. It's the changing tides, and I was supposed to do that Comedy Cellar show and I was like, you know, I had all kinds of jokes written about, look, stop it. You're New Yorkers. You're not going to die from coronavirus. You're going to be stabbed to death. It was killing. It was murdering in the clubs. People were applauding and crying and laughing and yeah. And now, by the time this would have come out, I would have looked like, you know, Typhoid Mary. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yes.
handing soup out to people. Now, here's the thing. Now, doesn't this make you feel a little bit for Typhoid Mary? Because you're like, she didn't know she had fucking typhoid. You know,
Yeah.
she was working in a soup kitchen. Nice person.
I think it was the exact same thing, too, where she was kind of asymptomatic. It wasn't like she was sick and coughing into her hand. And like, I think she was a person who didn't have symptoms. I'm pretty sure.
To me, it's almost like when addicts blame the first person who got them high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stop it. You're an addict too. They're an addict. It's not like they're out there not being an addict.
Right.
We're all in this together is what I'm trying to say, you know?
Exactly.
This thing is basically like everybody doing heroin.
Yeah, so the point is, if you were Typhoid Mary a week ago, learn from the mistake. Don't be Typhoid Mary today. That's all we can do.
I guess that's it.
It is.
Man,
Yeah.
people are mad at those kids that are, partying. But I just got this thing set that's so fucking stupid. A bunch of superheroes saying to a doctor, welcome to the club. Look, none of you are real heroes. You're fucking drawings, okay? Or you're people acting out drawings. So dumb.
Yeah.
I think
also,
one of the worst thing you could do in a time of need is to draw a funny cartoon about it.
This says everything.
All right, it's the Bennington show. We're just hanging out with you today. A lot of people are mad at those kids in South Florida. Do you have any of that audio, Vito?
Yeah, I have the video of the spring break kids.
Did you guys catch how stupid I just was? I just went, do you got any of that audio video? I called it video.
I've done it before, and something happens where I'm telling you, every time I ask him go to the video, I almost always say video after.
Vito, you got to change your name. It's too close to video.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it. I always wanted mine to be named Santino, like my mom originally wished.
Hey, fine, Santino. You got it. Santino's the modern day hero. All right, let's just play a little bit of that audio. These are the kids on the beach who, you know, they gave their little interviews, and now the entire country wants to beat them up.
We've been waiting for Miami spring break for a while. About 2 months we've had this trip planned. 2-3 months. So we're just out here having a good time. Whatever happens, happens. With the bars being closed, you know, we'll find alternatives. Unfortunately, it does suck that the bars and restaurants are closed, but we'll find ways to have fun.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break. 'Cause what is there to do here other than go to the bars or the beach, and they're closing all of it? It's really messing up. I think they're blowing it way out of proportion. I think it's doing way too much.
I mean, it sucks, but we're gonna make the best of it. We're enjoying ourselves. It sucks, and I'm from New Orleans, so this really sucks. However, we're gonna enjoy ourselves. We having day parties all day. It's my birthday, St. Patrick's Day. Turn up.
Turn it up.
Turn up.
Vito, I think that's enough. I can't take the stuff in between. Look, I know people are mad at these kids. All I can say is this. I thank God no one videoed me when I was the same exact age. I would have been so fucking stupid and talking about partying as if it mattered.
You would have been going, Yeah, we're down here in Wildwood. We don't care about no coronavirus.
We don't care even slightly. I know the water's polluted, but I'm diving in anyway. You know why? I'm a senior this year.
We're just chilling out, hanging out by the water, getting a couple hoagies, couple cokes. We don't care about no kind of corona.
Me and my friends last night beat up an old man underneath the boardwalk. It was fucking awesome.
Things are a little fucking crazy. So what?
Hey, man, me and my friends went on a water slide, and it was so fucking funny, man, because I stopped, and then everybody ran into my back. We were laughing. It's fucking. After this, we're going down to Ocean City. A friend of mine's got a houseboat, so we're just going to go out there, snort some coke, have a little smoke. Shut up, you dummy. No one should be allowed to... Look, no one should be allowed to be videotaped for the news until they're 38 years old. That's the first year that you're able to slow down and pace yourself.
One of my favorite things about this is that, everybody is passing this video around of just how idiotic these kids are. But a lot of people's comments are like, why did they only find the most unattractive people on this beach? Surely there must have been a couple lookers.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is what happens when you get on television. You expect it to be pretty. These are just regular fucking dumb, ugly people, who want to get fucked up and bang other ugly people. There was a kid who's like, we live for the moment. Yes, because you've only had moments in your life. You have no idea what it is to be 25 yet. I remember when I turned 20, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I was going to be dead by now. This is fucking ridiculous. All right, it's the Bennington show. Just trying to bring some normalcy into our own lives and your lives. Obviously, these are weird times, but I'm more amazed how much people have seemed to get on the same side now. You know what I mean? Like, even if you turn on Fox News, they're like, stay home. Don't go out. You're risking lives. It was just like a couple days ago that they were like, this is a made up thing. But now everybody, Trump, everybody is saying you just have to stay in.
I think that, I have the feeling that Trump had a talking to where somebody said to him, like, hey, like, this doesn't have to be your Katrina moment. You could be the hero. You could be the guy that people are going, we can't change horses midstream. He's been doing such a bang-up job on this coronavirus thing.
I'm with him 100%. I mean, he called it a pandemic before anybody did. And then the next day goes, hey, it snuck up on us. No one saw it coming.
I know. I love that it was like the fastest from hoax to pandemic very quickly with him.
Very, very quickly. And now it's just China's fault. China's the typhoid Mary.
Yeah.
And he says the world is paying a big price for what China did. I don't know if they did it on purpose. People are mad at him for eating bat. Look, here's the thing. You're eating bat because you got nothing else to eat. You know what I'm saying? You're not eating bat because you think it's delicious.
I know that I can't really sit in judgment. I know that they were like, oh, a big part of it is like these bats, but also this like food market where things were packaged and not very hygienic. And so that probably spread through the food. Yeah, it seems like this is where they eat. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like they have a choice.
By the way, isn't that called farm to table? I don't know. Vito's telling us we got somebody ready to go.
Yes, we do. We have Karen Feehan on the phone.
Oh, God bless her.
Hi, you guys. Can you hear me?
Hey, buddy. Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Oh,
now,
you guys are so funny.
You stop
more
it.
More like that cave to table, right?
Ouch. Ouch. Too bad you can't do that tonight.
I would tell. And nobody's surprised about Italy, right? I mean, those people lick each other in the eyeball hello. Like, that's how they say
true.
hello to each other. Of course, it's spread like wildfire there.
You know, I found this out, and it's really weird, though, but it's okay to touch your asshole, and it's okay to touch other people's assholes. So I feel like there's a light in this whole thing.
Yes, that's fine. One finger is fine.
Yeah, one. Don't put two in, because now you're starting to fuck around with everything.
We're going to send you down to Miami with those wackadoos. Those dumb. I mean, who's surprised, though? If I was in my 20s, I would be in a full-on blackout at this point. I mean, I think I would be in my parents' home infecting them because I would be homeless and, like, just full-on hammered.
I love the people who say, I'm going to go home with my folks. I mean, you're just like, could you?
Why?
I mean, Thanksgiving is hard enough. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving is difficult to put the adults all together like that.
I know.
To just say this is open-ended?
Oh, my God. It's brutal. The government's trying to make us so fucking fat. People are going to come out of this so fat. It's terrifying. The idle eating that even I've been doing, and I'm psycho about working out, it's like the boredom. It's not fair. I don't think they can keep us like it shut down this much for much longer. People are going to resist.
Now, Karen, are you doing any of those like Skype or FaceTime workout classes? Are you trying to do anything like that?
Blood boil. It's so cringy. I can't even handle it. Like that's not stand-up comedy. I'm sorry. Like, consume content 100%. Like, listen to albums, support comics however you can. Like, you know, it sucks. And make content, comics. Learn how to edit a video, because that's like the non-cringy way to put your stuff out. But speaking to an empty room, I mean, I don't get it. There's nothing funny about it.
Ian Finance just told us that he was going to shoot a special just with his cat watching him.
I mean, that's his Instagram stories every day. I'm like, you're going to be alone forever.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think there would be any difference between him working to just his cat and a full theater. It's going to get the same response. That's just mean. He was just on here, and I told him how great he's been doing. And then I go and do a mean joke like that. It's just terrible.
No, he needs it. He likes any kind of attention. You know us addicts. We'll take whatever we can get. It all feels fine. That's the other thing. Like, what a great time to relapse, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, no one can blame you. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I understand. You thought you'd go and get fucked up. Haven't we run out of Tito's? You know, I know we're running out of toilet paper, but you'd think Tito's would be gone by now.
That and all the rich white women who have to take care of their own children. Now, Pinot Grigio, we're going to run out of that. We're going to run out of rosé for sure.
I find it amazing that so many people have no idea. Oh, is there a lot of wine out there? Because you're just following Kashmir.
A lot of wine moms.
But it's just dawning on a lot of these people that their kids are annoying. They had no fucking idea.
Suck. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course your kids don't want to learn. They don't want to learn for 8 hours a day. You're just finding this out now.
And you have the balls to write their teachers emails like, Danny came home and told me that, you know, you called him a little bit of a pretty boy because he had a lavender phone case. Well, it sounds like he is a little bit of a pretty boy, okay? If you got him a purple phone case, you're asking for it. The balls of people to get mad at teachers. My mom's a teacher, my sister's a teacher, my brother's a teacher, my sister-in-law. Yeah, good. I'm glad they're all stuck home with the parents. Let them see.
Yeah, it's terrible. And also, I remember being like in first or second grade, you could literally get beat up for having the wrong lunchbox. And it's not like you went and picked it out yourself. You know what I mean?
I know.
So like my
Your mom's
mom brought
taste
this
is
home.
terrible.
I remember for some reason being a kid and looking over at the girls, and instead of like having a fun or funny lunchbox, they would just have a plaid one. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Express yourself.
So boring.
Yeah. Karen, you know, I was talking about this with Ian, and I put you in the same boat. You've just, like, in the last couple years, have been really finding your voice, right, on stage. This is a very tough time for you to lose that, because you just really, found it.
Right.
Recently.
It's like, you know, you're getting such a good momentum, you know, you just got so used to just being on stage every single night, you know, and like not shitty shows, good shows, and like just really like building that confidence in your crowd work, confidence in your material, writing constantly. Like I host a lot, you know, I host a weekly show that some people come to every week. So they don't want to hear the same bullshit every single week. So it was really forcing me to write new bits. And now it's like that sort of pressure feels like it's been lifted. And now I'm just tweeting like a psycho. I'm like, this is what Twitter's for, right? Every single one of my thoughts, everyone. I shouldn't let a single one go by, right?
That's hilarious. You're crowd working Earth. Yeah.
And I'm bombing. I'm like, can I get a retweet? I just tweeted. I'm like, don't let the government make you fat. That's your depression's job. I think I'm getting too dark with it. What do you?
I know.
Keep it a little lighter.
Yeah, it's hard because we all start light, and then your next thing you know, you're just doing this gallows humor.
I know. I know.
But Gail, the stand really did become this interesting thing where you would see people, you know, I mean, like the Frantic Show, they put up a lot of people, and you know, you have killers and some young people, but then you turn around and you see some of these young people being introduced and the crowd going nuts because they had a good set in the last 2 weeks, and you're like, fuck, this is a different room.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like it's a set up to succeed type of room, thanks to me. No, it's because that show's just been good for so long. Michael Costa started it. Aaron Berg is there every single week in case I fuck up. I am still a woman, and it's like, but it is sort of like people are there to laugh, and they're there to laugh at dark shit. So if you get one of those spots, like usually, you know, it kicks off with like the Mark Normans and the Dan Soders and the Sean Pattons, and you know, if we're ever lucky, you. And then it's like you get these kids who are like kind of up and coming, but they're strong and they're good and they get a good spot and they do well and it's fun. It's just a good time.
You know, I remember like even at the old stand when Aaron Berg would be hosting and he would go up and, you know, in between acts crush, and some guy would like, how am I supposed to follow this? I'm like, well, this is the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the whole trick. You gotta follow people.
You have to just set the level of like where we're going from the beginning, you know, and then they're ready. Then people are ready, and that's never really that easy. But it's basically you just have to let people know you're in charge. This is where we're at. This is what we're joking about. You know, you don't like it, get out now. It's only gonna get crazier.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bummer, man. I mean, it's only been like what? I hosted a show there Thursday or Friday. Maybe I shouldn't have. But I was there till like, you know, the day before they closed, and it's like I'm losing it.
There's a thing out too about the servers, and the stand has set up I don't know what you call these fucking online pay things, but to help out the servers. And it's going gangbusters from people. People are just throwing in the amount of money that they would have tipped. And it's been really, really touching because, and you know this, Karen, those people that work those clubs are the sweetest people in the world. You know what I mean? They couldn't be better.
Right. And, so you know, also a lot of them have learning disabilities, which is pretty evident from the service. And that makes it feel better to help them.
Yeah.
No, I saw and you can put your name up. You can put your name up when you donate, too. I saw Sal Volcano with his big 500 donation. Okay, don't keep it anonymous, Sal. We get it.
Yeah.
You're rich. You're rich.
Yeah, you're doing okay for yourself, Sal. You got fucking 18 different platforms you're working on right now.
I know.
Yeah, any of the anonymous stuff that you see on there, that's me. So,
yeah, I know. I figured. Ronnie B. That's what I figured. Yeah, it all adds up to like $3,000.
$8,800 so far for those servers to split up.
So they're close.
Yeah, out of a $10,000 goal.
When I was a waitress, I'm telling you, I never saved a dime. I would make like $200-$400 a night, but then I would go immediately spend at least 100 of it on the bar next door to whatever restaurant I worked at. You know, like I would just never save any money. So to instantly just lose your income like that, it's crazy. And you know, comics too. All these gigs getting canceled. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh man, the night that it came in, we're doing the Creeps tour. We're traveling around the country. It's crushing. It's so much fun. And then every theater we have gets canceled. And as Bobby's sitting there, the people who sponsor his podcast canceled because they're that betting site and there's nothing to bet on. I don't know whether you guys I don't know whether you guys saw this. Gamblers are now betting on the weather.
It's so
the
great.
gambling sites have set up this thing where you can bet on the weather. And you know what is weird? As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I like to get in on some of that action because I really do know what the weather's going to be.
I can tell. I have an app on my phone that tells me 4 days ahead. It feels like I'm cheating, though. I know it's going to rain.
Well, give it a try. Get out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe no one else has the app.
I mean, I feel like this is something I could do.
You know who's making a lot of money right now? Sam Champion. He's just fucking nailing every one of these leather things.
I know. He's crushing. Oh, that's funny.
Now we were talking about this. You seem, from your Instagrams, you seem to be alone in your quarantine. Is this a time in your life you don't have a boyfriend during this quarantine?
Listen, I kicked 2 guys out thus far. I mean, I don't like being lonely at night, but I'm still working from home. I'm very fortunate. I have a writing job, and we're just we're doing our stuff we have to keep everything on air. We have to keep writing these spots about the stuff that's going on. So I'm busy, and I'm up at 5, 6, 7 at the latest every morning. I'm walking my dog. I'm working out. I don't have time for anybody who needs to be entertained. You know what I mean? If you don't have anything to do, I'm really sorry, but I need my alone space. I need, I just moved into this place, it's my own, it's my first very own 1-bedroom apartment that I don't need to hang around here. I mean, I like somebody to watch TV with, there's a Shark Attack show that's pretty good. But other than that, I don't really have a use for the man.
Here's the thing, too. We should not focus so much on Corona that we forget about sharks because they're always there, ready to go.
They're always
They are
every summer
fucking ready.
Worse.
Yeah, it's terrible. And, right away, when Trump was calling it a hoax, all I could think about was Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to keep everything open. That amity means friendship.
There you go. See? It all ties together. It all makes sense.
It all makes sense now. You got to make that money. You got to bring that money in.
Yep. I mean, some people are just cleaning up. Toilet paper companies, hand sanitizers, groceries. Some people are just benefiting. And then I took a Lyft the other day, and a lot of the drivers are really feeling it. He says his income's down 50% at least. I just feel like you can't shut down. I understand wanting to protect the elderly, and we should all have a social responsibility to do that and be as mindful of that as we can be. But I think you can't take away people's ability to make money because I think that's going to maybe make 2 problems instead of 1. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
You're not a what?
Smart person.
You couldn't even think of the phrase. Smart person.
I'm think of smart or person.
Well, I'm just going to make sure that I don't even try to figure any of it out because it all seems like a little unbelievable to me. But I see that everybody seems to be on the page, and then there's just what's Roller Girl's name, Gail?
Oh God, what is her name?
The
Heather
actress
Graham?
who played Heather Graham.
Heather
Thank you,
Graham.
Vito. You are a hero. So Heather Graham tweeted out this thing that goes, hey, why do we have to be quarantined? Why don't we take the sick people and the old people and quarantine them? And I'm like,
Oh, my God.
Heather.
No, she didn't.
Heather, yeah.
Girl,
Yeah.
you're the next
And I-
Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah. I just tweeted back, I go, look, in her defense, she has amazing tits. And I don't know
Right.
how she does
Yeah.
it. I don't know how you can keep amazing tits for 25 years, but somehow she's done it.
I just
done
think
it.
of her in Boogie Nights when she's in the class and just looking really dumb and distant, like she couldn't be there and couldn't figure things out. That's all I'm picturing as she says this.
Oh.
Oh boy.
That was literally me in school. You know what I mean? That was literally me going, I understood the Charlie Brown trumpet teacher voice because that's all I heard for 12 fucking years.
Yep. That's what Heather's boobs sound like.
Yeah, they would if I had them. If I was slapping them around. What a great actress. Now, Gail, you went to school with the kid who ended up doing a sex scene with her, right?
Yes, I went to school with Victor Rasuk, who's an actor, and then he was in a movie, and I can't remember the name of it. But I think the last time I saw him was actually just after he had shot that movie, because he was like the intense pressure of the idea. Like initially you're like, cool, I'll be in a sex scene with Heather Graham until the day that you shoot, and then you don't feel so great about it.
Yeah. I've never heard of anyone, any actor who did a sex scene and went, that was amazing. You know what I mean? I'm just so happy that we did that sex scene. I think especially for men, because it's a problem if you get a hard on, and then it's a problem if you don't get a hard on.
Right. What are you, gay?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've said this before, but I had a friend who was in a play, and he was going to have nudity in the play, and he was like, it's a very small part, and since we're friends, you guys, like, if you feel uncomfortable coming, don't. It is full frontal nudity. And we're like, no, please, you're an artist. Even if it's a small role, we'll come and see you. And we go and see the play. We're waiting so long for his scene. He comes out full boner for no apparent reason. The scene does not call for a boner. Like, it's not a sexual moment. It's just a nude moment. And we were like, what the fuck was he doing backstage? Like, why would he do this? And the horror of us, like, we were prepared to see his flaccid penis, but we're shocked and appalled to have to stare at his boner. It was very disturbing.
Oh my
and then
God. Who was his
afterwards,
partner?
he like half the cast. There was a lot of people on stage, so it was a very strange moment. There was no reason for him to have a boner. And then afterwards, came up to us like, "What did you think?" And we're like, "Of your boner? Like, you had a boner, dude. Why did you have a boner? Like, this is so weird."
He's like, "Do you want me to sign your playbill?" He's got his boners in me.
Now, did anyone else get aroused?
No, he was the only person who was nude. It's hard to remember the context of the scene, but it was super non-sexual. Like, it was for some reason a nude scene. I can't remember what was going on in it, but no, he wasn't about to have sex with someone. It was almost medical in nature, I feel. I'm not even sure what it was.
Look,
but it was.
Can I just tell you this, because I understand acting? His penis made a choice. You know what I mean? His penis decided to just go for. I'd be like, what would Robert De Niro's penis do? I don't think it would just want to sit there. I think it would want to stand up and take some notice.
No, I know. He's like, I haven't been working out my dick for nothing, you guys. Come on, let me show him off. Got a little hat on. If
I was a producer of gay porn, I'd hire that kid in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's one of the big problems in the porn business is keeping that guy, ready to go. That's why they invented the fluffer position.
Right.
And I've had porn actors say to me, since Viagra doesn't even matter anymore. It's terrible what's happened to the business. It used to just be talented guys. It's just like with baseball with steroids. We no longer think home runs are a big deal.
Right. Same thing. Good metaphor.
Yeah. As if we needed it, right? As if it just, it just didn't work bluntly.
Now I'm just picturing his hard penis hitting a little plastic baseball, knocking it out of the park. This guy, boner guy. Oh, man. So awkward.
He's doing commercials now. It's just him and his cock.
Right. They're alone together.
Karen Feehan, we love you, buddy, and we just wanted to check in. You're just
love you so much.
Hey, thanks for checking in, you guys. This is great.
Yeah.
It was nice to hear your voices, and I hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, she's nuts.
All right.
But whatever.
Give out your social media stuff.
Social security number is
No.
Follow me. Follow me on Twitter at KFreehams or on Instagram at Karen KERRYN Feehan FEEHAN at Karen Feehan. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Hope everybody's good and stay in touch.
We love you too, and I'm sorry I had a boner this entire time. That,
I knew
I didn't
this.
mean for that to
Ronnie
happen.
Boner.
All right. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah, I adore that kid. And, again, she's one of those people. She just really took this position. I mean, first of all, Aaron Berg is one of the strongest comics working out there, especially at crowd work. And she had to, in this show that is very well known in the city, kind of take his place because Aaron wanted to do more spots around town and, his career is taking off. So for her to jump into that thing, there's very few people who would even want that, to be like, oh, Berg isn't doing it anymore. Somebody else is. Doesn't matter who it was. And she turned around and really made something out of that. And the Stand recognized it and started giving her spots at different places, and she was hosting on different nights. And things were really going, her way as a comic.
Yeah.
And, Anthony Cumia is inviting her on his podcast. She did Chippa's show a lot. She was great with Chippa, which was always not an easy place to go because you never knew where Chippa was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to really understand how a room works. I don't think I ever even did it very well. And she's, everything's going her way, and now this pause in her career. But just really, I know some people think everyone's think they know Voss from his act or Bobby from his act or whoever it happens to be. But off stage, she's a generally sweet, great person. And then on stage, she's a killer.
Yeah, I actually, I saw her do stand-up when she was still doing open mics. That would be probably exactly about 10 years ago. And, as much as she's grown and she's such a great comic, she also was fully realized in that persona of hers. You know what I mean? She's the same, which is really fantastic. She had a really a clear voice very early on.
Yeah, and it also takes an audience to catch on to a new original voice. You know what I mean? The audience, the audience doesn't always know it, but a lot of times they're just like, well, this isn't something I've heard before. I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with it. But a guy named Ron Moranian said to me very early on, he goes, well, you're just a corner that hasn't been turned yet. Just stay with what you're doing, which is a really tough thing when you're young and you're like, I'm doing this stuff. I think it's funny. They don't.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to, instead of adjusting yourself, you have to say, I'm going to wait for my time. There's no one that we're talking about who hasn't been through that experience, but people don't realize how hard it is to go 8, 9, 10 years before you get into this, before you get onto the level you want to be.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think of it that way, it's probably you'd have to kind of be crazy to think that you would stick it out. And yet I think like that's kind of what it takes in order to succeed.
There's a certain guy who hosts sometimes at the Cellar. And by the way, the Cellar has hosts that are 40 and 50 years old. You know what I mean? They have guys that have been there forever. It's really even hard to break in as an MC there. And then it's hard to break out of that spot. You know what I mean? Like they're going, no, you're the MC. You don't do sets. So there was a young guy. To me, he's a young guy. And I'm sitting at the table, and he and I are the only two people, and we're sitting there talking, and he's just saying, he goes, this is crazy. I, listened to you when I was a kid, and now I'm doing a show with you. And he goes, this whole thing is amazing to me. He goes, I've been in New York doing stand-up for 10 years, and now I'm in shows with, Colin Quinn and Jim Norton and David Tell. I can't believe I'm here. And all I thought to myself was 10 fucking years. You know what I mean? Who can make a dream last 10 years before you're like, I'm in the show with the guys that I want to be doing shows with, Yeah. So fucking crazy. Difficult.
It really is.
And then you see a guy like Vito who's just like, give me everything now.
He's from the me generation,
Yeah. All right, Vito, see if you can find this. Somebody wrote to me that Gilbert Gottfried did his own Imagine video. And I definitely want to do that sight unseen, if you can follow it. Gail, would you give that video a smash or trash?
Oh, boy. I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm going to give it a trash, but it's like with a gentle smirk do I give it a trash. I don't have the fury I think other people did, because it's just like, it doesn't shock me these people attempted to do this. I see where their head's at. I know that type. But was it a success? I would say no.
See, here's my point. I would say no, and yet better than all of their movies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't feel like we're looking at the most talented fucking people. For most of them, there's some real fucking, great people in there. But
right.
Overall,
Kristen Wiig is great.
Yeah. This is not a movie. You know what I mean? This isn't something that they put together. Someone just said, hey, wouldn't this be a nice thing? And you're like, yeah, well, I'm not doing anything. How do you say no to somebody? If
Right.
someone called you up and said, would you be part of my viral video, and you knew them, you would just say, yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think that probably all of them receiving blowback today are just thinking, but I was just trying to be fucking nice.
Yeah. I was watching the Comedy Cellar roundtable thing, and Chris DiStefano was on there. And he had a deal for an animated series, right? And it was already, being put together. Everything was being written and all. And Colin Quinn was going to play his dad in this. He had called up Colin, would you do this? Colin says yes. He goes, the second this coronavirus hits, he says, Colin calls him up and goes, look, I only want to do things that are important. And I don't see anything important about playing your dad in a cartoon show. And obviously the thing's on hold, and it's probably going to go away, and it's just part of the shittiness that happens. Vito, were you able to find Gilbert?
Yeah, I found the video. So it looks like somebody paid him through Cameo to do this.
Okay. All right. So he's a big Cameo guy. And some people are and some people aren't. Karen Feehan is on Cameo, and the picture of her is she just has the back of her pants pulled down. And I'm like, out of everyone, if I didn't know, I'd pick that guy. All right, let's take a listen to Gilbert doing Imagine on Cameo.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. ha! Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion to. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one.
Well, it's better. It's an improvement over the last one.
I agree. I feel like he has
what
the
did
tone.
he get? What did he get? $350 for that?
Yeah, I think his price is $250 to $300. I'll look up the exact right now.
And you know the thing is, people are going like, "Why would anyone do Cameo?" It's $250. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And I know Gilbert's made a lot of money and he doesn't spend any of it, so $250 is nice for him.
It's $150 now.
$150.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, he used to be. I think he was charging like $250 or more a few weeks ago. So this is. I think he's doing it for people in quarantine who really want to get a video from him.
That's really fucking nice. That's really, really nice. You know. Hey, you seem a little down right now. How about we get Gilbert to give you a video?
Hey, Gail. How's Juju doing? I hope she's down for a nap right now.
And everybody's like, this is so fucking great.
This is great.
Yeah. Maybe Stanley can start and do these. Is he muted or is he around?
He's around. Chris.
All right.
I am here, Ron and Gail. I am here.
Okay, just use your regular speaking voice. Chris, I just had a perfect idea. Instead of Cameo, right, we just do jerk off videos with you. And listen to this, because this works out. You get the $100. You get the $100 that you said that you would do instead of getting the lump sum of $1 million. So if you want, and all we got to do is get 2 or 3 people a day to do this.
Yeah.
And your dream came true.
Look, now that I'm quarantined, I mean, I have nothing but time to masturbate furiously. I mean, I'm going to masturbate to the point I hurt myself. I mean, I'm going to get serious chafing, Ron.
But I thought you wanted that. I thought that was your dream job.
For that money, yeah. If I'm getting $100 a load, then sure, I could have made fucking $300 already do that, and I'm probably another $300 after this.
How long would it take you to come if you were masturbating in front of a video camera?
I don't know. Like, how big is the video camera? Is it like just like a laptop, fucking like webcam? If so, it would be.
I think you can hide it in like some books on the bookshelf if that helps you concentrate.
Nanny cam.
I mean, you know it's there.
Nanny
but...
cam. And you can pretend you're a nanny and you just laid the baby down.
Yeah, if I don't see the camera, I mean, it's just like it's not even there. And then I'm just jerking off incredibly quickly. Because I'm just trying to come, Ron.
But yeah, you're not trying to please somebody.
No.
But here's the rub. The whole time you're doing this, we just play Gilbert.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
I mean, I swear to God, when someone wrote to me and said, you know, Gilbert did this, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a nice, funny parody. You know what I mean?
Imagine you had coronas. You were going to die.
You know what I mean? I thought that's the direction we'd be going in.
No.
By the way, could you believe the way I had to set Pit Doc up to not be too scary?
I know. It's not in his nature.
I have to say to a doctor, please don't joke about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like Chris jokes about it. We don't take him serious. A physician jokes and we're like, oh my God. Oh my God. Only. I don't ever want to hear a doctor say we're all going to die sometime. What's the difference?
I know. Blow the bridges.
He's really a small town doctor too, where he says he's only got like 2 people that work his emergency ward.
He's kind of like Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman in so many ways.
No, I'm going to give you even a better one. You ready for this? Pit Doc is Doc Hollywood. You know, he was driving out to L.A. and ended up stopping in this little town that, I don't know, what was the thing that they celebrated? Eggplant or something? What the fuck did they grow there? No, it wasn't melon. What the hell was it? It was like a weird name. Squash? Maybe it was squash.
I feel like it's zucchini or something.
Zucchini seems too exotic for this shitty town.
Maybe it's garlic.
No. Gail and I have been to the garlic capital. It's in Northern California. Remember that, Gail, when you were little?
Yeah, I do.
I can't think of the name of the town. It began with a G, but they were the garlic capital of the world. And then everywhere you went, I mean, we just stopped through because we were going from LA to San Francisco, but you wouldn't go anywhere that they weren't selling garlic, having garlic on the table. You know, you would order, you know, a quesadilla, garlic in there. What? Garlic on the side then? Your garlic? So did we figure it out? Did anybody look it up, Vito?
I'm looking it up, but I can't. It wasn't in like the Wikipedia plot summary. I'm trying to find it.
How could it not be?
I know.
It's the Grady's All Important Squash Festival.
Oh, what's squash?
Squash. All right,
right.
send me into the prize closet.
Good job. What do you want?
Yeah, I don't know. Give me the Robbie Robertson that Earl just gave away like it was nothing. Why don't we take a break here? I'm going to try to get a hold of Earl. Go over to our Instagram page, and believe me, there's nothing more I like to do than bust Earl's balls. It's a pastime for all of us. And when we have him take pictures of us and celebrities, he's terrible. But if you take human beings out of it, he crushes. And Earl has been going around town at night just taking pictures of empty New York. And it's hard to believe. And know this, too, when you look at these pictures, it's not empty because everybody left town. It's empty because people are staying in. It's so weird to even think about that.
Yeah.
And give him a comment and follow him at eDouglas528. Because this is crazy, crazy stuff. And there's even more pictures on that than we could possibly put up because he's taking these, constantly. And I'm like, no, we really don't want a picture of the IFC Center. You know what I mean? Like, that's not that good. So we don't do all of them, but we've got just kind of a slideshow of empty New York, and it's fucking haunting. It's haunting to see this. We're just not used to it.
Yeah.
The empty subway train that he was on by himself, you just have no idea how rare that is. The empty Grand Central Station. Insane. Insane.
Yeah. It looks like he's at the Transit Museum.
Union Square, which is exactly where the stand is one of the busiest spots all the time. Completely empty. All right, let's break here, Gail. We'll be back.
Bennington.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show! Bennington is back, and this is Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show!
Bennington is back doing a little social distance radio, and it's really great to be able to do it. I was just reading a tweet from Hickman Bell. I must be on a quarantine life high. I'm so happy listening to Ian Fidance, Karen Feehan, talk, and then says, hearing these people I've never met, bringing me so much joy. It's so incredibly sweet because I feel the same way.
Yeah, it is nice to check in with your friends. I got to do this in real life more too. You know what I mean? I got to check on people. I just have this whole thing fits my addictive personality of just isolation. I can't tell you how happy I am to be isolated, and I know it's tough for a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure I could live this way the rest of my life. I could. It's like being in a submarine. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It is feeling a little bit like now we're a week in, and that is kind of how we are, because honestly, that's the last time we saw each other was a week ago.
Well, that's right. A week ago today.
Yeah, a week ago today, we were all together. We took that picture right after the show, and then I immediately drove to a grocery store.
You were the last person to get in and go, hey, do you have any eggs? I remember when they first brought this up, everyone was like, I don't think I could do a week or 2 weeks. And now it might even be a little more open-ended. I think tomorrow we'll do a phone segment and check around the country to see how everybody's doing, because it's hard to imagine, no matter where you live, it's hard to imagine this same thing is taking place 500 miles away from where you are, 1,000 miles away, 2,000 miles away, even 10,000, 15,000 miles away. You know, people in India are now are doing the same exact thing. I saw a picture of the Taj Mahal, completely empty, nobody there. Your whole life, people are like going to the Taj Mahal.
I think that it was last night that I was really like, okay, so I know that this is not something that's happened in my lifetime, and every bit, more makes it more and more surreal. But I was thinking, I don't think anything has probably had this global impact since World War II, right? I mean, this has to be the most shared global experience since World War II.
If you would have said to me, would people in the world stay in? I'd be like, nope, not going to happen. Yeah. And then, I see those pictures of the canals in Venice, in Italy. And suddenly the water looks better and dolphins are swimming through the canals. Like, it takes that long for nature to go reclaim this thing.
It really looked, I mean, that really blew my mind, because that water is normally dark and murky, and it honestly looks like tropical water. You can see the bottom, you can see like fish. It's so strange.
And what'd that take, 2 weeks?
Yep. Yeah.
Just 2 fucking weeks to clean this shit up? It's so crazy. When we get out of here, there's just going to be walruses in the East River, And you're like, what? How'd this happen? Did you see that video of in the Chicago Zoo when they just let the penguins out of their thing and let them wander around the zoo?
Let me tell you, when I watched this video, you know how we've talked in the past about if you're on a plane and you watch a movie that's either really funny or really sad, your emotions are right on edge, so you could cry more easily. This is how I think this quarantine is treating me, because when I watched this video of these penguins, I burst into tears, and I could not really explain why. It was just like the way they're just like looking around with this childlike wonder, and they're looking at the fish in the aquarium. I was bawling.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I'm just glad that penguins finally got to see zebras. You know what I mean? Like, to live so close to a zebra and not be able to check one out.
Yeah.
I feel bad that the zebras don't get to go over and see how the penguins are living. Because the zebras would be like, oh, you guys have a lot of cold water over here, huh?
Right. This is
we
so
don't get
different.
much.
Yeah. There's another an animal one that I'm obsessed with. Someone had tweeted this today, and I'm going to retweet it right now. But it's these elephants, and the post says, while humans carry out social distancing, a group of 14 elephants broke into a village in this Providence looking for corn, other food, and they drank all of this corn wine and got so drunk they just fell asleep in a nearby garden, and it's just drunk elephants passed out in this village. It's the fucking cutest, funniest shit.
First of all, how did Barnum and Bailey never think of this? I would love to see drunk elephants. Just fucking smashing around, being weird. Crazy about it. We're going to try to get a hold of Earl Douglas in a little bit to talk to him about his photography. Tell him not to make it too boring. You know what I mean? Because he's taking some fabulous pictures, but, you know, he doesn't always do a great job of describing it. And I told him, like, he said to me once, he wrote to me, because I'm like, dude, I think you got a book here. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be one of those unique scenes. No one's going to be able to get this. Like, if you were a movie company and you wanted to do this, you wouldn't be able to pull it off.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be too goddamn expensive. That even had me thinking, what's the last movie that was shot in New York? I think it might be Sofia Coppola shooting that. Yeah, shooting that movie with Bill Murray. He's somebody's dad in this, one of the pretty girls. And it's one of those things where the dad comes back and he has to try to make up everything, that's happened in his fucking life. And, the last time Sophia and Bill Murray worked together was Magic.
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah, absolutely. So good.
Let's see if they did it again. But I can't think of another big movie that got shot in New York since then. I think they were shooting like down in Soho or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of even the last that I heard of or like the last that I saw shooting.
Oh, man, I wonder what Soho looks like, because Kelly Ripa used to live in Soho, and she said, like, the only time that it was bearable because of the amount of shoppers that are there was 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. She had a beautiful apartment, but if she went outside, she was just stuck in crowds wherever she went, because they have those high-end stores there in Soho, fashion stores.
I just thought of who it was. Was it Rashida Jones who's in that Bill Murray movie?
Rashida Jones, you're exactly right. Love her. Love Rashida Jones. Carl Reiner loves her uncomfortably. So we're gonna get Earl on in just a little bit to talk about his stuff. A lot of people are writing to me, they're like, isn't it dangerous that Earl's out there? I would say yes, wouldn't you, Gail?
Yes, 100%. I don't condone it. While I do enjoy the shots, I am nervous about him doing it for himself, for people around him, people he comes home to, for sure.
I had to run out to the CVS late last night, right? I felt so guilty and weird while I was doing it. I mean, it's like right down the block from me. But I'm like, this feels wrong to go outside and go into a store.
Yeah.
And in my case, I'm not worried about getting it. It's because of all the travel I've just been doing. I'm concerned that I could have it and pass it along. I mean, I'm not ready for that kind of guilt.
Yeah. You got to get a mask.
Yeah, they say they don't work. I just got to think from Pit Doc. So the only way it does work is if you have it, right?
Right, exactly. So if you think you have it or if you have a cough, then you should be wearing it. But if you're just afraid of getting it, I honestly think going out in gloves, like wearing latex gloves, would probably be even safer than, let's say, just wearing a mask.
Really? And should I stop licking things?
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should probably call it quits on that.
I don't like to change, you know what I mean? I don't like to change who I am. I'm known as the licker.
It's part of your culture and heritage.
Yeah. I got a thing that's from a guy in a liquor store. He said, this is a better time for us even than Christmas. We're selling more liquor than we do at Christmas every year. I feel like if you show up at somebody's house, you ought to have, some Tullamore Dew, something. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's a little high end.
Yeah. You can't show up empty-handed, that's for sure.
Maybe some Bushmills. All right, so tomorrow we'll do a little jumping around. I think the phone calls have sounded a lot better. I think you've got that worked out now, Vito.
Yeah.
And what did you decide that it was?
I'm not sure. I think there was just a few things. Like I have to really, I just have to pay really close attention to some of the phone calls, and I think we made some changes that made it sound better with no echo at all.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you don't know what it was now. I think that you have no idea what the reason was.
Well, I think we turned everybody, like we spoke yesterday about it, like turning headphones down helped. Just keeping the callers lower and just making sure my mic is off whenever a caller is on.
Yeah, your mic is a nightmare. I hate to say that. Oh
Isn't
man,
that funny?
I just got some new pictures from Earl. These are crazy. He's down at the new Twin Towers. I don't know what that's called. Freedom Tower?
Yeah, the New World Trade, right.
And they put billions of dollars into this lobby, the subway station in the lobby. And it's fucking like you see 4 people in this giant place. Let me know when we got him ready to go, too. Earl Douglas, photographer of his generation, of his era.
We have Earl on hold right now.
All right, let's put him on. Earl.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
Bravo, Earl. Bravo. Your pictures are stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Thank you. It's been a very sobering trip. It's been very haunting. It's
So you stopped drinking.
well, that and well, it's been almost therapeutic in an odd way, but I feel like it had to be documented. It absolutely has to be documented because no one will believe us as time goes by that this actually happened. And
well, it'll be in the history books.
And this is how stark everything looks and sounds, and like you just hear everything now as you're walking down the street. It's crazy.
Do you ever shoot any video, Earl?
Not really. I did a quick video of me walking down the middle of Broadway between 17th and 18th because I couldn't believe I was doing it because I was just there I was walking down the middle of Broadway, no cars in sight, no people in sight. I was like, I have to shoot this. I did like a quick 20-second thing, but other than that, it's been all pictures.
Now, are you scared at all, Earl? Are you frightened?
Yes, I am. I think, because the gravity of this hasn't really kicked in yet because people haven't been tested. We haven't really tested everyone yet. But
yeah,
when I'm out there, like I usually go when I know there's a very low, well, there is a low volume of people, but when there's very few people out, so I have very few social interactions with people. Even when I'm getting to and from there, there's just it's what was that movie, The Omega Man, with Charlton Heston? It's a very lonely feeling. It's like everything's going, but there's nothing happening. It's a very spooky feeling, and then when you see a person, you're almost startled because you haven't seen anyone for like extended periods of time.
All right, now I have to, Gail. You and I talked about this. We seem to be comparing ourselves to movies all the time because there's nothing else to compare ourselves to. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Because this feels like fiction. I mean, not only have I been doing it with movies, but even the other day, I think I had texted you that it had reminded me of like a children's book from my childhood, and then I got crazy trying to find that book online because it was, so surreal. But I mean, across the board, I keep comparing this to fiction because I don't think it doesn't feel real.
Well, when this happened in 1918, right? They probably weren't even aware how many places this was taking place. You know what I mean? Like you would only know. What are you going to do? Send a letter to San Francisco? How are things there? You know what I mean? By the time you're going to hear back, weeks had gone by. All of our stuff now is in real time. And also one of the reasons why I'm trying to stay away from watching the news regularly is there's always somebody on there giving the grimmest thing. You know what I mean? No matter what channel you go to, some people will be very positive, but all you need is that one negative person freaking out. And you're like, oh, God. You know what I mean? I don't need this.
Last night I was, I was watching something, And, you know, I've kind of just tried to been limiting myself. But last night watching this one news report, and it was just like hot terror through my body. I'm like, how am I newly afraid of something? You know what I mean? Like, how am I getting more new bad news?
Right.
The more perspective you get on it, particularly when you start looking at when they start comparing to where Italy is now and where we are currently, and just kind of how they see the trajectory of this moving. I think that freaks me out. And then also, like, the idea that, you know, we don't have an end, we don't have a number to put on this, and this idea of this could be ongoing. Like, even if we come out, that there could be like another circumstance where they're like, okay, another outbreak, everyone back into your caves, and it's just pretty surreal.
See, that did me no good. I'll be totally honest. I'd have rather just been fucking around and being silly. Earl, if you get coronas while you're doing this, is it worth it? Is it worth it to you as an artist?
Yes, it is. I think this is important, and I think it's important to really document the real gravity of it, because, you know, we built all of these things, these beautiful monuments and these beautiful, you know, this is the best of us, and then to have it all just kind of disappear. Like, remember, 2 weeks ago, we were living our lives. You know, there was a lot of hustle and bustle and everything else, and then just that quickly, everything is gone. You know, we're all in these respective shelters and not enjoying this. We're on the brink of spring, and you know, that's kind of like a rebirth of everything. And then to have everything empty like this, and then
it's really weird.
To this enemy we don't see. You know what I mean? It's just, I felt like I had to really document this, and you know, I'm taking as many precautions as I can. You know, I travel with a big tube of with hand wipes and everything, and I'm trying to avoid interaction and just be very aware of what I'm touching or not touching. But I just feel it's worth it, though, to document what we're losing here. You know, and to me, it's worth it. I mean, I feel great, but who knows? I mean, this is great unknown. It's all new. This is new weird to me.
Yeah, that's the weird thing for me too. I feel great, you know, but it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You know, we just do what we do and keep it going on. But I do remember, like, when the first cancellations started coming up on different shows, everybody was pissed. You know what I mean? Like, no one realized that everything was going to get canceled. You know, people were just like, "Oh, I lost a Tuesday night," and these fuckers. And then the next thing you know, just everything that anybody had is gone. So it felt at first more personal than universal. You know, Earl's pictures are up on our Instagram page, and it's. You know, don't be alarmed by some of the things that Earl's saying. We're not going to lose the buildings. We built them. The buildings are going to stay. It's the human beings. It's the human beings. And, you know, despite all this stuff that we heard, you know, you hear from Pitak, who's still saying 1%. You know what I mean? 1% of people will die from this, which is, a horrible thing to hear. But any death things are horrible to hear. I mean, would you get on a plane if they told you there was a 1% chance that it would go down?
Never.
Probably not.
Never.
Probably not.
No.
But there's got to be some kind of percentage that you're still not happy with.
Yeah, sure. But it's much smaller. I mean, I think the weird thing is also that you're not only, it's not about just putting your own life at risk, which is another interesting aspect of, you know, the quarantine.
Yeah. You know, Fez had said to me, he goes, I'm sure I'm going to die from this coronas. I go, but you were always sure you were going to die on a plane. Like, each fucking plane, he was 100% sure was going to go down. And that's just the way life is. It's up to you which way you choose to go with it. Earl, do you have, if you do have a book coming, do you know what you want to call it?
I mean, the working title right now, I keep saying the new weird, and that's kind of stuck in my head. Empty NYC is floating around. I haven't really thought of a title yet. And you mentioned Soho earlier. That was my next stop because that's a really busy area, and like, particularly during like this time of the day where people are shopping and like you could barely move around there, especially around the Prince Street area. I'm curious to see what it's like right now, or what is not happening right there. And I mean, it's crazy, and and I always, if I did a book, I want to find a way to give some money to the service workers. All those people who are out of work. And
hold on for 1 second. Is that Juju crying?
No, she's asleep.
Well, who is that? Earl, is that you with a crying baby?
That's probably my my niece. She's with her kids, so that's probably.
Does she have corona?
No, just being bad.
Are they there with your? They're staying there with your parents?
Yeah, she went to check in to see if everyone was okay. That was the other thing.
No check-ins.
My brother's coming by later. My sisters have called. And,
yeah, I know.
I feel like I need to explain to the Douglas family how this works.
It doesn't work best through check-ins. It works best from not checking in, Earl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all they're literally a building away, so.
It doesn't mean anything. The whole reason that we're supposed to do is stay away from each other. You know what I mean? So this is a dangerous thing for your parents that you're going out. But to have people around, it's not the best thing.
Yeah, well, Douglases are kind of stubborn and bullheaded, and I try to talk to them, but you can't talk to everybody.
I don't know whether you even try to talk to them because it seems like you don't understand the rules of this.
Yeah, me going out every night isn't exactly the smartest thing either, but
it sounds like a baby has corona. I thought it was Juju. I'm like, what is Gail waiting for? The baby needs her.
No.
Well, Gail, could you go check on Earl's niece?
I would, but that's really against what we should be doing right now. But
okay,
I would.
I think I just heard a slap. I just heard. I think I heard a church slap take place.
Church slap.
Earl, the police don't even have the time to come and pick people up for child abuse. This is the best time ever to commit petty crimes and crimes against your family.
Well, I haven't even explained the other weirdness that happened on Tuesday when.
What's that?
When my father's car caught on fire.
What?
Barbecue?
No, it was kind of freaky because he was in it. He missed it by seconds.
What was it? Corona?
No, it was like something electrical, and it just sparked, and then the next thing, the car's done. It's fried. It's toast. But his
Cadillac?
He had a Lincoln Town Car, 1990.
Okay. Wow. Well, no wonder it caught on fire then, Earl. You haven't changed the oil in 30 years.
Yeah, that was kind of freaky and scary for a second because I got a phone call about it, and then my father wouldn't answer his phone, and I had to run to the parking lot, and he was there, and I was just almost had a heart attack. My heart was pounding out of my chest as I was going to the parking lot.
You were like, I don't want my daddy to be burned up.
No, not at all.
Earl, let's be honest about this. Was he frying chicken in his Lincoln Town Car?
No, he isn't. No, he literally just pulled the car in. He's like, "Hey, I was just sitting behind the wheel, listening to some music," and then a woman came from the other side. He's like, "You need to get out your car now. It's starting to smoke." He saw the smoke. He got out the car, and then he started to make. As soon as he made his distance, it went up.
All right, if you want to know how old school Earl's dad is, everyone else on the planet has a phone and earbuds. But Earl's dad, when he wants to listen to some music, goes out and sits in his Lincoln Continental.
So crazy.
Still uses cassettes, too.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Now, what was the last song he heard in there? Chai Lights?
Probably. It was either that or some Muddy Waters, Sam Cooke. He loves those guys.
Oh, he loves Muddy Waters, huh?
Yeah, that's how I became a fan.
Your dad did it to you. All right, Earl Douglas. It's up on the Bennington Instagram as Empty NYC. But Earl, you wanted to maybe call this what? When things were weird?
The new weird.
The new weird.
Weird.
All right, congratulations, and be careful out there, Earl. Talk to you later.
All right, miss you guys.
I miss you too, buddy.
Peace,
Bye.
Earl.
Earl Douglas does stuff his own way, and his family does stuff their own way. His niece brought the babies over to check on the mom and dad when that's literally 100% the opposite of what you should do. Like right away when this thing started, of course, I had my mom and my sister, and she's compromised. My sister's had some health problems. And the whole point was, do not go near them. Don't let anybody else in the family go near them, because they're healthy now. They've been in the house. But they can't be even exposed to one person. And Earl's family is just the opposite. They're like, I'm going to go over and check on Mama.
I mean, honestly, I feel like they should change the last name to the Griswolds. They're just doing everything totally backward.
There could be a movie called The Black Griswolds when things got weird.
The new weird.
I mean, let's face it. Chris Stanley doesn't follow one fucking rule, and he's following these rules.
I know.
Earl's family, the exact opposite.
Fully the opposite. You can look at this almost as a goofus and gallant scenario, and for once in his life, Chris Stanley is the gallant.
Yeah. Chris, what made you, for the first time in your life, follow along with the rules they set up for you?
I've been thinking about this a lot, Ron, and I feel like it's my reading of a bunch of science fiction over the years and watching movies and seeing all these like global pandemics, and then when it starts to actually roll out, I start to think maybe I'll be responsible for the first time in my life and not, bring a family over to an older woman's house.
Just a crying baby with a cold.
This family doesn't show up for Thanksgiving, but they show up for the coronavirus.
I don't understand. That's a really good fucking point.
It's a great point.
You'd think Daddy Douglas would be like, there's still a turkey sitting in that refrigerator right now.
I mean, I know that both of them have had, his parents have had health issues. He shared that his mother has diabetes. I just don't feel like this is a great idea.
I'm telling you, I met Earl's dad before, and he's kind of somewhere in between Rollo and Grady. You know what I mean? Just like an old school, laid back black guy. And the fact that the only peace this poor man gets, and you could hear the screaming going on in the middle of the day.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to go out and do his Lincoln Town Call, light up a cool, and just turn on the radio. Cupid, draw back your bow. And he's just sitting there thinking of another life that he never had the chance to live.
Why does Earl think that the buildings are coming down?
He doesn't. Look, the sad thing is I never should have put him on to describe it. I should have just let him.
Yeah, the picture
And
speaks
the
for
other
themselves.
thing is, now he wants to turn around and give away his profits to service workers. Earl, picture books don't make a profit. You just got a fun little thing here. If we do this at all, it's going to be for your ego, nothing else.
Mm-hmm. True.
Earl thinks he's Spartacus.
By the way, since we went on and talked about the stand, I just got a message. You're just a few $100s away from their goal. So thank you to everybody. That's really, really
that's
nice.
awesome.
It's really, really cool. It's very, very kind. And, Dennis Falcone destroyed Jeffrey Gurian, and the same exact thing happened with Bobby Kelly and Rich Foss. We got to think of our next two people to be closer. You know what I mean? Like, we want to have one really close match, don't we?
I know. I mean, I honestly thought our first one between Dennis Falcone and Jeffrey Gurian would have been close.
Well,
But
it
that
might
was
have been
a
close
squash
if we would have put other. You know what I mean? If we would have had a third choice, everybody would have went. I mean, suicide got picked a lot by people, but and also I'd rather just have the virus. But the truth is that if you take a look at this, it's not. We haven't had anything close yet. So I don't want to say yet before we get the pictures, but we got to come up with two people we think is going to be difficult to choose between. And because I know we got two people who's probably really hurt right now that we even put them in this. We didn't ask. We just decided on their own.
Right.
I am so embarrassed. I thought you were letting your baby scream.
Oh no, I wouldn't have let her suffer that way. But I thought that maybe it would be clear because it was to me sounded like a bigger kid having a tantrum, not so babyish.
It might have been Earl's mom just screaming that she didn't want people coming over. She's going to die.
What the fuck is he doing?
Did you see where Omar praised Donald Trump's incredible response to this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she's part of the Gang of Four. She shocked the world with that one. The incredible and right response in a critical time. But that's because, he's ready to start spreading out the money. And she knows that the Republicans, that's supposedly something that they're against, 100% bailouts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going for a bailout.
Yep. All those socialist things everyone's afraid of suddenly don't sound so bad, I guess.
Who knows? Who knows where we're going to end up at the end of this? Everybody who is very young is going to have a totally different philosophy than I think anybody's had up to this point. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like whatever we think is the response, the younger people are going to grow up and go, oh, when I was, in 7th grade or 8th grade or whatever they are, and I know I never want anybody to go through that again. This could end up being something that people start to get, okay, now I get the whole global warming and climate change. I get how the world is bigger than us. You know what I mean? We're not going to be in charge of nature. Nature, lives its own values. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Earl's family would have fallen behind Chris Stanley and following the rules?
Yeah. That was a big shock. Everything about it was shocking to me.
Well, it wasn't that long ago. Chris would have been down in Miami just fucking yelling on TV that, that he's rocking and rolling and whatnot.
Crushing it, bros.
I
love how just exhausted, drunk, and in such rough shape all those kids look too. Like they're kids, but not one of them actually look like it. Like they look aged from what they're doing to their bodies.
They're all very ugly.
Yeah, everyone keeps pointing that out, that they're a little rough on the eyes. It's kind of an interesting thing, and I think the stereotype of the MTV spring break was suddenly broken.
They thought it was a gathering of the Juggalos and not spring break.
That's really fucking funny. But the Juggalos are closer to real life than anything that's ever been on MTV. Believe me, I was just on a fucking cruise where I turned around and said, no one has body issues. No one is worried that they're too fat.
I actually...
Not a single person gave a fuck.
I actually saw that footage of those kids, and I thought it was the Lobster Boy family reunion. I was shocked.
The first kid's name is Brady Sluter, and he fucking looks like a Brady Sluter.
Man, you would think that Vito would be sticking up for these kids. He hates them.
I never
No.
got into spring. I never got into the going away for spring break thing. Like I did not see the allure in spending a bunch of money to go to an overcrowded resort where they're gonna pack it in as much as possible so you can't get your free drinks.
You sound like a guy who didn't believe he could get laid, because in where I come from, right, the spring break thing was something that we called Senior Week, and it was at the end of the high school year, right? And all the kids would go to Wildwood. Now, Wildwood had an 18-year-old drinking age then. You could be 18 and get drinks, and there also were no pictures on license. So you could get a license from a friend of yours. So from about the age of 15 to 16 to about 19, I went to that every year. And it was, a 500,000 kids, no one over the age of 23, 24. And we had the fucking time of our lives. The time of our lives. Insane. And here was the beauty of it, too. Back then, the Catholic girls didn't want to have a reputation, of sleeping with people. But they could go down here, and for the first time in their life, they got out of their neighborhood. They were anonymous, right? So if somebody from Upper Darby was with somebody from Lower Merion, that reputation wasn't going to follow them back to fucking their little Catholic school. It was a blast. Spring break is a fucking blast, Vito.
I was never into it.
You were fat. You were fat at that age. You were gigantic. I've seen pictures of you.
College, I lost all the weight. I went to.
You were massive.
I went away for after prom for a few days, and that I like that.
After prom, stop it.
It's the same
after
thing.
Prom. Where did you go? Staten Island?
No, we went to the Jersey Shore for after prom.
Jersey Shore? You could have been in fucking Lauderdale. You could have been in Daytona Beach. And the fucking weather is completely different.
I was very fat in college, and I fucking went to spring break, and I crushed it at Fort Lauderdale, Ron. It was the best fucking spring break of my life.
There's no
I
truth to
believe
this.
him. He was the last guy wearing cutoff shorts. You would have been on the news talking so stupid and ridiculous. I don't know how people just can't relate to these dumb kids.
I'm Brady, man. I'm Brady Schluber.
Tom Brady's down in fucking Tampa right now, just having the fucking time of his life. First time he's been away from Giselle and the kids for a while, and he's loving it. And he wants Antonio Brown there. And wherever he goes, he wants the rapist with him.
Brady loves that fucking guy, man. I think he's going to get him, too. I think after this whole coronavirus thing blows over, the NFL is like, yeah, Antonio Brown, come back. Make a living.
Yeah, we've been through enough. We understand. I don't see any way. If you go by Gale's numbers, I don't see any way there's a football season this year.
The first NFL person just got tested positive for coronavirus. I got information for you guys.
Oh, I fucking hate your spy reports. They're so
I'm
fucking
sorry.
sad. They're so sad. Who was it?
It was Sean Payton, coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Oh my God.
That means Breeze got it.
Why are you? I don't know who's worse with bad news, you or Gail, but both of you are like doing this show with Debbie Downers. We're trying to stay positive.
I'm sorry. No, we are positive. We're gonna get through this NFL season and fucking start on time. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna love it. We're gonna see Brady in that Buck uniform. No, Ron. No.
Did
you know
hear?
that Italy had over 400 deaths yesterday?
Gail.
I guess that'll be us in a couple weeks.
Hey,
did you hear that the virus is mutating? So even if we find a cure, it won't last.
Hey, did you hear the bad news? Seems like Vito was too fat to go to Fort Lauderdale.
You have 20 seconds.
All right. To live?
20 seconds. No.
All right. That's it for us. We'll be back in here tomorrow. Stay cool.